exploring the unexplained. Unbelieve, only on The Podcaster.
Hello, we are about to explore unexplained phenomena, and this episode might feature opinions, views, and conspiracy theories that you haven't heard before or that might make you uncomfortable. All we ask is that you keep an open mind. Okay, let's go. Hello and welcome to another edition of Unbelieve. You're listening to me, Brian, and joining me today for a bit are my good friend, Mr. Babu Murli, and another really good friend, Harish. Welcome back, Mr. Murli. How you been?
I am okay. Hello, how are you, Mr. Brain?
Brian.
That only.
Anyway, without wasting time, I thought we'll get straight to the topic at hand today. I want to discuss about a couple of things that a large number of people believe that may sound ridiculous to others. Now, I couldn't think of a better one than the belief that the earth is flat. Yes, you heard me right. The origin of this belief, of course, stems from a lot of data from ancient civilizations and their conclusions, which are obviously based on what they observed every day, such as seeing the horizon as a straight line, the sky looking like a dome overhead, etc. Now, what the different cultures believed and the reasons for them would be a completely different podcast on its own. So I want to focus on what's happening in the present day or the modern culture and why people now still believe that the earth is flat. Do they really believe it, or is there something else to it? We'll get to that as we go on. I want to start with a list of points that people use as evidence for their belief that the earth is flat, and of course, the counterpoints to each of them. Let's get started. Here's the first one. The horizon appears flat. Now, the claim is flat earthers argue that when you look out at the horizon, it appears flat and not curved, which they take as evidence that the earth is not a sphere. Now, the counterpoint to this is very simple. The earth is so large that the curvature is not really noticeable from the ground level. The curvature becomes a little more apparent the higher we go, higher altitudes, such as maybe from an aeroplane or even images taken from space.
Hey, but those people are saying that NASA is telling full lies and showing computer images of Earth. What about that one?
Now that you mentioned that, this whole NASA is lying thing is a subject on its own that we'll cover probably another day. To answer your question though, NASA's pictures or claims are not the only evidences we have. We have plenty of other ones. Now, let's move on. Next up, another thing they claim is a lack of observable curvature. Now, it's connected to the first one, but it's a little different. The claim is that if the Earth were a sphere, we should be able to observe the curvature across large bodies of water or on vast plains. The counterpoint is very simple. The Earth's curvature is subtle and gradual. However, it actually can be observed in long-range photography, where distant objects, like for example ships, they disappear hull first as they move beyond the horizon. For those who like to get technical, the Earth's curvature is around 8 inches per square mile.
Hey, can I say a joke about that 8 inches?
No.
See, I don't know about Earth, but your sense of hammer is surely flat.
It is sense of humor, and I don't care about your opinion. Moving on, the next point I want to talk about is what's called the Bedford Level Experiment. The claim is that this experiment, conducted in the 19th century by Samuel Rowbotham, involved looking along a straight canal to see if the water's surface curved. Now, Rowbotham claimed that the water appeared flat over a 6-mile stretch, which he argued proved that the earth is flat. Now, the counterpoint is this. The experiment was flawed. Why? This is due to atmospheric refraction, which can sort of bend light and make objects look, or rather appear, higher or lower than they actually are. Good example of that is a mirage. Later, more controlled experiments were done, accounting the refraction factor, and all of them very clearly showed that the earth is curved.
So, Samuel's bottom was wrong.
It's Samuel Rowbotham, that's his name. And would you stop interrupting me, please?
Okay.
Next up, airplane flight paths. The claim, flat earthers point out that some aeroplane flight paths in the southern hemisphere especially seem to make more sense on a flat Earth map rather than on a spherical one. They argue that the flight paths are indirect or illogical on a globe, meaning they don't go straight, they go in different directions. Now, the counterpoint is very simple again. If you think about it, flight paths are determined by a number of factors, not just the shortest distance between two places. They can be air traffic, they can be wind patterns, the need for emergency landing options, and more. It's not just the shape of the Earth. When plotted on a globe, these paths that we see actually make a lot of sense when you consider all these factors.
That is very correct, especially Bangalore aeroplanes, because there is too much traffic here.
Back to the subject. Next up, the dome and firmament. The claim is some flat earthers believe that the sky is enclosed by a dome or firmament as described in some ancient cosmologies, and that this dome prevents space travel, and that is why the sky appears as it does. The counterpoint is that there is no evidence for a physical dome over the Earth. Space travel and satellite technology, which we use, provide extensive evidence that the Earth is a sphere and that there is no such dome.
Mr. Brain, there is one. Your baldy head is there. No, it's looking like one dome.
I'm going to ignore that remark. Moving on. The next point is water always finding its level. The claim is that because water always seeks a level surface, the oceans should be flat if the Earth were flat. They argue that the water could not curve around a spherical Earth. That's actually silly. The counterpoint, again, is very logical. On a large scale, water conforms to the gravitational pull of the Earth, which pulls everything towards the center, creating a spherical shape. The concept of level refers to being perpendicular to the gravitational pull, which on a globe is curved. A simple way to understand it is, just imagine you look at a person who's climbing up a hill, right? They are not perpendicular to the hill. They're always leaning forward. Why? Because the gravitational force pulls them towards the center of the Earth. So they're actually walking at an angle. Now you reduce the slope and you think about a person who's walking on a road with a very mild elevation, maybe just 1 degree. Now when you look at it from far, you can't see the angle, but you do know that he's not walking on a perfectly flat surface. It's about perspective. When you look at the globe from far away, you will see that the water seems curved.
So that means you are always bending on a hill.
You're really beginning to get on my nerves now.
Apple logics.
Apologies.
It's okay, I forgive you.
Never mind. One final point. The lunar and solar phenomena. They question lunar eclipses, the phases of the moon, and the way the sunlight behaves, suggesting that these phenomena are better explained on a flat Earth model. Now, I won't get into technical reasons why they believe that, but that is what they believe. The counterpoint is very simple. The movement and phases of the moon, eclipses, and solar behavior are very clearly explained by the heliocentric model of a spherical Earth orbiting the sun. Now, while these arguments are used by flat earthers to support their belief, they have been thoroughly debunked by many scientific evidence and understanding over the years. The overwhelming consensus in the scientific community, which is of course based on centuries of observation, experimenting, and a lot of data, is very clear. The Earth is a sphere. Personally, though, I've always been open to any arguments that support the claim that the Earth is flat. It's just that I've not yet found anything that would hold water. Right, so you got the serious stuff sort of out of the way. I thought it'll make things a little more interesting by bringing in a very close friend of mine, Harish. And we have a couple of cool things to talk about, including the flat Earth and another goofy topic, which I'm really looking forward to. Harish, how are you?
I'm doing well, Brian. So interesting stuff today.
Yeah.
I know I'm tempted to laugh at people who are into the whole flat Earth thing. But the truth is, I've begun to be a little sympathetic because, a lot of what they do is because of YouTube.
Yeah, you did mention it the other day. Oh, by the way, to our listeners, when Harish told me about this, I told him that I don't want any of his pointers. I want to feel like you guys feel. So a lot of what he's going to say is going to be new to me as well. So that's why I said it's going to be a fun experience. Yeah. But I do know what you mean. Not just in terms of the flat Earth. I think with a lot of things, these websites like YouTube, etc., they feed us content that's based on our searches and so on and so forth. To put it in short, this is not natural.
Yeah, feed is the right word. Feed is the right word because, so, I ran into a BBC piece about how YouTube is the reason for this resurgence of belief in flat earth theories.
Specifically flat earth.
Specifically flat earth because, so what happened was, a lot of people start out researching flat earth.
Okay.
And then get on YouTube, obviously, and see a bunch of videos. They're curious. A lot of people are just inquisitive. What's this about? Amused. YouTube has this thing called recommendations.
Okay.
Now these people, they're just researching stuff. They're watching stuff like you and I do, and then it's one video after another doing the same thing, speaking about flat Earth and the different approaches, all the points you spoke about, all of those. And I guess over time, some of them do get convinced. It's not so much that they are actually nut jobs looking who believe this. They have been fed this stream of information over and over. So one guy who was working with YouTube mentioned on that video, to quote him, for YouTube, the best video was one that kept people hooked. Not the truth, the one that kept people hooked. They make you watch more content. They make you see more ads. So YouTube is interested in ad revenue.
Yeah.
They're not interested in the truth. So you have a situation where someone says something like, if you make a cup of tea, the water is level. If you run the bath in a tub, the water is level. If you go to a lake, the water is level. So when you go to the ocean, why would you expect it to be curved?
Oh yeah, I actually answered that in one of the points. I don't want to repeat it to the audience, so I'll tell you about that later. But yeah, that's been very easily refuted.
Yeah. And this has gotten to a point where, to give you one statistic, right? 7%, it is estimated that 7% of Brazilians, that's about 11 million people, believe that the earth is flat.
I don't know if it's a bad joke, but Brazil is known for football. I find it funny that they would think the earth is flat.
Hey, come on.
Maybe the ground is flat, right?
Interestingly, in 2016, right, there was a very famous battle about this, and it entered pop culture. So there is a rapper named B.O.B. Who tweeted that, the earth is flat.
Okay.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, deGrasse Tyson, did not appreciate it. Well, he clapped back, I suppose that's the term.
Okay.
He pushed back, he tweeted about it. So B.O.B., rapper that he is, released a diss track. Titled Flatline. You think you can check that out?
Yeah, sure. I'll play a little bit of it.
Yes. So, he calls him out by name. So
yeah.
Neil Tyson need to loosen up his vest. They probably write that man one hell of a check. Hey, I'm over here on this side of town. Come on over here, try to clown. Hey, I'd never pipe down if they weren't coming for me. Then they definitely coming for me now.
So that was interesting, right?
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist, released his own diss track, his own song, which he titled Flat to Fact. And he had his nephew.
Oh, I was just going to ask if he rapped.
No, he did not rap.
Okay.
He's doing the spoken parts of it, intro and outro. He has his nephew rap.
Okay.
Let's check that out, shall we?
Sure, let's.
The donkey of the day, I ain't waiting for Charlemagne. And all them strange clouds must be messing with your brain. I ain't waiting for days, Bob, I'm right here. I got science in my corner and there's nothing to fear.
Hey, but I must say, pretty good rapper. His cousin, you said. Nephew. Yeah, pretty good, actually.
Yeah. I don't know. Not really a rap aficionado, but I like this fight. Yeah.
Might go a little off topic, but I've seen quite a few Neil deGrasse Tyson debates and explanations. And while a lot of them are quite nice, interesting, one thing I've observed is with things that he's not very familiar with or has studied, he tends to make a lot of assumptions. Of course, with this, I know he's a physicist, right? He's brilliant, no doubt about that. I'm curious to see that story about that entire battle. I'll do that later.
Yeah, right. So that wasn't the end of it, because he pushed back and all of that. So in 2017, B.O.B., the rapper, he said he would launch his own satellite to settle the issue once and for all, right? So he started a $1 million GoFundMe campaign. That did not take off, right?
Did not take off. Okay.
So, and then, I checked up today, could not find the GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that was pulled down and the satellite didn't actually go up. So we don't know what he believes, but I'm assuming he still holds on to the flat earth theory.
Probably.
So in all of this, what comes out is, because YouTube was implicated, they took it seriously. So in 2019, YouTube put out a blog post. The company said it would be making changes to its recommendations algorithm to explicitly deal with conspiracy theory videos. And I'll quote from the blog here. We'll begin reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming the earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11, unquote. So they've equated claiming the earth is flat to be as asinine as saying 9/11 is an inside job or any of the conspiracy theories around 9/11.
Oh,
YouTube is not fucking around with this one.
I have a lot to say about that last bit, but let's leave that.
Oh, I think they're talking to you, Brian.
Let's leave it for another time. Right.
So now what happens on YouTube is when there is when you're watching a video about flat Earth, if it's a particularly popular video, you get a band under it, that note, right? Like a community note for YouTube, I suppose you would say. So it has a Wikipedia, a note from Wikipedia that says, flat Earth is an archaic and scientifically disproven conception of the Earth's shape as a plane or disk. Many ancient cultures subscribed to a flat Earth cosmography, notably including ancient Near Eastern cosmology. The model has undergone a recent resurgence as a conspiracy theory.
Wow. Okay.
So this is laying it out there.
I wonder if they'll have a problem with this one.
Are we supporting a flat Earth?
I'm not.
Which one gets us more views?
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll give you my view. I'm open to evidence. I'm open to arguments from people, not with whatever belief system.
You're open to evidence?
Yeah. I mean, people have made arguments about multiple topics, including this one, and none of them have really convinced me. I mean, you have things like Coriolis force, etc., which you cannot answer with a flat Earth.
Okay.
I won't even get into
what is this called?
I won't even get into the responses I've got when I asked a question about gravity. It is too silly to even talk about it. Anyway, okay, quickly, without getting nerdy, Coriolis force. Just all you guys, just picture yourselves sitting on a merry-go-round facing a friend, right? The merry-go-round is moving. So one of you is holding a ball. While it's moving, if you throw the ball to your friend, it is not going to reach him. It's going to swerve because the merry-go-round is turning. That's essentially how the Coriolis force works. And here's the kicker. It is opposite in the northern hemisphere and opposite in the southern hemisphere. There is absolutely no way a flat earth theory can explain the Coriolis force. People who are in the armed forces, who do long range shooting, all consider the Coriolis force while they shoot. It exists. Anyway, point here is, for me personally, it's one of the biggest evidences against the concept of a flat earth. I find that whole concept really, really silly, but it can't beat the silly that's coming up next.
Before we go there.
Oh, there's something else?
We need to find a sniper who believes in flat earth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not happening.
So, on to the even better theory.
Okay, guys, again, believe me, when I heard about this next topic, right, the only thing I did was check if this actually exists, because it was so crazy when Harish told me about this. Part of me thought he was just trying to pull my leg. So I went and checked, and there's actually a Wikipedia page about this, so which means this actually happened. So I'm as new to this concept or this theory as you are, so let's just wing it. So tell us about it.
Yeah. So it is all leg pulling, no doubt. But there is this theory that birds are not real.
Yeah. I'll repeat what he said, just in case you guys are wondering. The theory is that birds are not real. Listen up.
Right. So the theory holds birds are there. Well, not quite. There were birds, but the US government, all as usual, killed all the birds. There are billions of birds in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
Killed them all and released drones that look like birds for surveillance.
Yeah.
This is it. That's the theory.
And
so all of the birds singing in the morning? No. No, those are drones singing to you. They are spying on you.
now, did this actually gain momentum? Because I did see there's a Wikipedia page. I didn't read it. But if it's gone so far as to have a page dedicated to it.
There are t-shirts for this. There is a movement for this. And there are t-shirts you can buy that says birds aren't real.
Honestly, I want to get one of those.
To give you a bird's eye view of this.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Okay, we'll just get to the facts.
Okay.
Right? During the protests, I think post the election of Trump, there were some marches or whatever. Right?
Please don't tell me Trump signed the deal?
No, he did not.
Okay.
No, he did not.
All right.
We're not implicating him in this yet.
Okay.
So one guy just got cheesed off with all the protests and counter protests, and just shouted in one. This is one of the stories. Shouted in one of the rallies that birds aren't real. And so it kind of got people's attention because he wanted to say the most absurd thing, because the whole milieu was like that, I suppose, at that point. And then it just took off from there, and people decided this is what is this birds aren't real thing? And it just kind of spiraled, and it became a thing where people are like, why the US government is spying on us? Of course the US government is spying on us, birds are not real. And it kind of kicked off.
Wow, if they got a wiki page, if they're selling merchandise like t-shirts, I'm sure
There's a New York Times article about it.
Oh,
It starts well. In Pittsburgh, Memphis, and Los Angeles, massive billboards recently popped up declaring, and this is a 2021 article,
okay.
massive billboards recently popped up declaring birds aren't real. You have Instagram and TikTok videos as well. So this really took off in about 2021. And you have something called, I do not know how to say this, I'm just going to read this because it's absurd. The journalist writes, birds aren't real adherents even protested outside Twitter's headquarters in San Francisco to demand that the company change its bird logo.
Is that why you changed it?
No, that's because Elon Musk bought it and made it X. But yeah,
Okay.
I like the fact that they want the logo changed.
Wow. You know what? This is crazy. And there's something, on a serious note, I'd like to tell our viewers. I'm not trying to be preachy, but there are plenty of people in the world who believe absolutely crazy things. Yes, I know sometimes truth can be stranger than fiction, but please, if you hear anything, do whatever little bit of research you can and apply fundamental laws of logic and any, scientific information you have to see what's the validity of that claim. I'm not saying that everything is a lie, but yeah, there are people like us who just for fun would buy the t-shirt.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, there have been people misled because of...
But I want to ask people listening, how many of you think the birds are real?
Okay.
Will you ever look at a bird the same again?
Depends on what do you mean by bird.
The next bird you look at, will you look at it suspiciously, right?
Okay, I'm not going to say anything more. YouTube might ban me for other reasons.
Okay. What do you have in mind, Brian?
Do you think these birds can give us evidence of the earth being flat or round?
I don't. The surveillance drones.
Yeah, but they can. No, surveillance drones. I think that we need to research.
Birds fly like low-level flight because they're spying on us.
Okay, I think...
Like they hang out at the electricity pole and, outside our windows. Like pigeons are the worst of these drones.
Yeah. Sometimes I think they're just not sent by the government, but by the devil.
Okay.
Anyway, I think it's time we
I think we're
close
getting our conspiracy theories a
before
little
mixed up. Yeah.
Let's clear the air on this one. So everybody knows this birds aren't real thing is a joke. Everybody's in on the joke. And
Hopefully.
This is meant to be one of those things where, everyone knows the theory is made up, but they kind of push it anyway as a way of, mocking misinformation, disinformation, whatever. To show how easy it is to make any weird-ass theory explode and kind of gain traction.
I'm getting more curious and enjoying these goofy ones. Anyway, let's see how it goes. For now, though, it's time for us to close. Yeah, I think that's a wrap for today. I think lessons today...
I think we've come around to the fact that the earth is flat and birds probably are real.
Yeah, they probably are. And we'll be back with more interesting theories and even the goofy ones. So if you guys have any topics that you'd like us to cover, if you have any comments...
If you want to diss us, like, say Neil and EOB were dissing each other.
If you're very good rappers, please
if you have
take a swing.
strong opinions... If you believe the earth is flat and we are absolutely, we have insulted
we assure you we're not going to send any birds to track you down.
Yes.
Right, for now it's...
a comment, yeah.
Do leave a comment. It's time for us to leave. This is Brian and that was Harish. Thank you so much for joining, Harish. Till next time, have a great week.
See ya.
Thinking that flat is fact. Yeah, that flat is fact. Bobby Ray's thinking that flat is fact.
Exploring the unexplained. Unbelieve, only on the podcaster.